there are opportunities to prime them to participate. For one thing, make sure you say hello to them every day. Call them by name. Make sure you've figured out how to pronounce their name. And I don't mean that to be insulting, but sometimes it's hard and it's worth the effort to say, could you say that one more time? And then I'm thinking about questioning. You can go to a student and say, I'm going to ask you a question about this. You know, I'm going to come to you and ask you this question. Be ready, you know, because you assume that they know the answer. Be ready when I come to you, and that will give them a successful time to participate and be a part of the class.
Another strategy for involving these students more successfully is, I think we underestimate how much time they need, because it's not, they're expending so much energy just to be here and normally as a person, that then everything else can be secondary, just kind of getting by.
Yeah.
But then the time it takes for them to process, all right, everyone, we're getting our computers out. They're looking around for kind of some visual cues sometimes. Oh, computer. Oh, we're going to the WLP. Oh, WLP. Like just every step there to get to the classwork can take longer. And then I think of my T-Rev classes, sometimes we're doing 3 different little readings during the class that day. Each of those readings by itself is a whole class of work for this student.
Yeah.
And I just think the amount of time it's going to take them for these assignments, you can still hold expectations, but being very careful in what am I going to expect them to have done. It's not you're not expecting them to do work, but you need to be aware that like them doing one of the 3 readings and doing a critical response to it is just as much work as a native English speaker doing those 3 readings anyway.
Part of the reason I take kids out of class, I'm sure is the same for you, is because it requires a lot of talking. You know, even if you're reading this article together, you're explaining the idioms, you're explaining the grammar, you're saying, oh, this is this person and that's why it's included here. So it does take a lot of extra time. It just does. I'm working with a class now that's requiring 5 research sources. And I said, I think you're just going to have 3 research sources. And even that, I think, is a lot. So the time is something I think not everybody is really aware of, and sometimes even I'm fooled by it.
Yes, I often overestimate. And teachers, I will say, are really flexible on that kind of 5 sources. We're going to do 3 sources.
No,
they're super
great.
flexible once, especially if we bring that to them. But even then, sometimes those, I was tried to read 4 pages instead of reading a whole book. I had a different story of 4 pages. We didn't, in the 2 weeks the rest of the class took to get through a book, we didn't really quite make it through 4 pages. Like, it takes a lot of time.